So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. We are the image of God. We're the difference between let there be and let us make. We are all one of a kind, designer originals handcrafted by the one and only master of the universe, the master of creation itself, the one true and living God. To me, just understanding that gives us an indication of how significant we are, how much God loves us. When we understand who we are and who we belong to and the purpose for our creation, then we can walk in the true image of God. When you look in the mirror, you see a reflection, which is an image that shows you what you look like. So as we live our lives on earth, our lives should be an image of what God looks like. What we do should reflect what God does. The way that we treat each other should reflect the way that God treats people. The way that we love should reflect the heart of God. And not only that, if I am the image of God, then you are the image of God, so that I need to respect other people and love other people and treat them as if I see the God in them. And one thing that I love about the creation is that it says that everything that God created is good. Now, if you were to look at society today, you would assume that mankind is not good and that there's very little hope for mankind. But that's not what the word says. The word says that mankind was created to be good and that we're the image of God. Therefore, there is goodness there. It just requires that we seek out the goodness of God in the world today. And that is our challenge. That is our assignment. That is our purpose in creation. We're the image of God. Let that sink in and think about it as you're going about your daily routine, church, work, school, whatever it is that you do. Are you being the image of God? Can people look at you and see the wonder, the righteousness, the gloriousness, the love of God in your life? Because remember, God created us in his image. And if we are created in God's image, everywhere we go, we should be walking manifestations of the image of God. Welcome back to the Sanctuary Sunday School, and thank you so much for all of the positive feedback that you've given me about the second season. I do want to address questions about the curriculum because, as you may or may not have noticed, the Union Gospel Press curriculum has split from the International Sunday School lesson, and I've gotten emails asking me which curriculum I'm going to use. I will be sticking to the Union Gospel Press curriculum. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If there's something that you feel like I didn't cover thoroughly enough, please reach out to me and I will make sure that I make those resources available to you to help you be successful. This week's lesson, the first man. This to me is the point that we've been building up to. You can find the text in the book of Genesis. It starts in the first chapter and it moves over into the second chapter. Man, God has finally created us. And what a beautiful thing that it is. And the first thing I want to point out is the difference. God actually handcrafted us, right? He did not just say, okay, man, come up, but he took his time and he made us like him. And that's something that I really want to express or stress. And because there's another key word in the lesson, and that word is dominion. Dominion is authority, and that's so important, I think, in this day and time because we're living in an age that stresses the weakness of man. And we want to offer God as well as each other a lot of excuses, and we're kind of not meeting that standard of how we should treat each other or how we should value each other. And that's not what the word said. God gave us the authority. He gave us dominion over the world. So these things that we try to use as excuses for not being able to do what we're supposed to do, or meet the criteria that God has set, God is not buying that. It is time for us to really walk into the authority that God has given us. And see, there are things that you have to petition God for. There are things you've got to fast and pray and ask God for. But this dominion was given to us by God at the creation. It's already been there. It's just a matter of making the commitment to walk in it and to obey God and to do it. And we can't let the devil trick us out of our authority. We can't let him fool us into not knowing who we are. And I see so much of that. And I can't even say I just see it in the world. And, it's dangerous because now we see it in church. And there's so many things that we try to bring into the church and that we do that is defiling the house of God, and things that we do in our bodies that defile the temple of God. But think about the care and the consideration that God took when creating us and how important that we are. Why would a God who is omnipotent and who is omniscient, why would he create something? Why would he take his time and form us in his own image just to abandon us and leave us without comfort or without assistance? God would not do that. That is not the way of God. That is not the image of God. So when you consider that, you must know that God is always with you. God is a part of you. God created and blew a little bit of his breath into each and every one of us. And that is what sustains us. That's what keeps us going. And even with life, in the lesson, when he told the man and the woman to be fruitful and to multiply. He told man and wife to be fruitful and to multiply. And I don't care what technology or what science tries to do, there is no other way to reproduce. And the very miracle of childbirth, the fact that you are alive is a miracle. No one can explain it. No one can duplicate it. It is not something there are not synthetic people, and I don't believe that there will ever be synthetic people. Yes, they're robots, but they cannot function as a human being. There's nothing like a human being. And I even teach because, I work with computers and I do a lot of digital technology. And I tell people all the time, even technology itself, computers are styled after the human mind. That's why the unit of measurement is called memory, because that's where all the data is. And I say all the time, with working with in the creative field, I literally have 4 or 5 flash drives in my purse. I have cloud storage with all of this stuff, and I have these external hard drives with all of this data on it. But all of that data came from my mind. It came from God. See, that's the God in me. And I challenge you to tap into the God in you. And when you tap into the God in you, God will literally blow your mind over and over again. Our minds cannot even conceive of how great God is. And we just need to submit to the will of God and make sure that we make it a priority to always display the image of God in excellence in everything that we do. And I love it the way that the word says that, and God saw that it was good. People in this world, even in church, will make you feel like you are nothing. They will make you feel like you are worthless. They will make you feel like you're the worst person or worst thing in the world. But that is not what my Bible says about me. My God created me in his image. And my God created me to be good. And I know that the goodness of God lives and breathes in me. And I am determined to do whatever it takes to stay connected to the goodness of God that he placed in mankind at creation. The first man. The first man is in all of us. Because remember, God told man and woman to be fruitful and to multiply. And the goodness of God has been passed down from generation to generation. And all you have to do is trust in the authority that God has given to you, not what your boss gave to you, not what your parents gave to you, not what your pastor gave or the bishop gave to you. Trust the dominion, the authority that God gave to you, that you are good and that you are created in God's image.